Hey everyone, it's Ellena. I trust you're doing well. Welcome. This is lesson 5 from my School of Light series, The Rising. And in today's hour, I'm going to be going over a class which I prepared for you on understanding your role in the universe. So, to get started, make sure that you have a pen and paper by your side. If you want, you can get yourself a drink and just make yourself feel comfortable for this hour. I've just got some iced coffee. I've just made with the coffee here from El Salvador. It's very good coffee. And raw milk and raw honey, the best. Okay. So to get started, as I mentioned, got a pen and paper on hand, comfortable. Take a deep breath. Just breathe in through your nose with me and release. Okay, something tells me I'm going to share this class to my YouTube audience. For the first time, I'm sharing a School of Light class to our beautiful audience on YouTube. And something just tells me I should do that. Because since we launched a few months ago for Soul, I've never actually shared one of our classes openly like that before to our audience. And I feel like it would be good to do that. So I'm going to put this up. So hello everyone from YouTube. And yeah, so to get started on understanding your role in the universe, I think we should firstly define what is role and what is universe, because the word role and universe can have different connotations and different meanings for everyone on an individual basis. So let's get started there. When I refer to your role, I'm not necessarily talking about your job title or your occupation. However, that's definitely included. But I'm more so referring to your purpose on a soul level. Okay? What you incarnated here in this 3D vessel on planet Earth to do and to fulfill is not necessarily solely focused on your job occupation, on your job or your occupation at all, okay? It's not. So just to get that out of the way, because I know many people who watch this may still be either studying in school, may be retired, may not be working, they don't have a certain occupation per se, so they'll be thinking, well, maybe this doesn't apply to me. You know, do I need this class? Is this class going to help me? Yes, yes, yes. It is still for you because I'm not referring solely to your purpose or your role in terms of a job. So just to clear that up. Secondly, what do I mean when I refer to the universe? Okay, because this also has its own independent meaning for everyone on an individual basis as well. In this class specifically, what I am actually referring to when I mention the word universe is this entire reality, which is your universe and our universe in a shared way, but individual to yourself as well. So, universe is subjective, but it's also objective depending on where you are coming from. Not to be confusing or to go too deep into it, but simply referring to universe as being our own experience in our life and also our experience with others. Okay, so our own shared space. I guess you could put it that way. So understanding your role in the universe is very key to be able to personally navigate your life journey and your life path here on earth, because there are so many of us who are lost souls. Comment down below if you feel like this, if you've ever felt lost, or if you know people who are. If you relate, just share with us, okay? This is an open space. because at times when we are more often than not incarnated into the 3D here in our fleshly bodies, okay, in your beautiful bodies, we become disconnected from the source that we came from, understandably, because we are shifting from one dimension to another, and we forget what we came here for. And actually, we experience complete amnesia. So many people in that state go about their lives not understanding who they are or why they're here. And I know many of you have felt this way before. Perhaps you still do. And I myself have as well. Now, there comes a time and place as you get older, as you become an adult, as you step into the real world, whatever that is, this matrix world, that you suddenly feel obligated to comply with a bunch of rules and sets of laws and be able to fulfill certain tasks in your life as an adult that may not necessarily make sense to you, or perhaps you just feel like you have to do it anyway. So you just go about yourself. Most people will drag themselves through college and university just to simply attain some type of qualification that can get them a decent paying job, right? And just work 9 to 5, or maybe a few days a week, or maybe work from home for your boss and retire and go on lots of vacations afterwards. Maybe you had time for children. Maybe you have some grandchildren now and die. And so that's pretty much the way that our 3D system is set out for you to experience that. However, when you start to connect to a deeper purpose as to your role in this universe, you start to understand that you did not come here to simply go through the motions of the matrix. Okay? So the example I just gave to you. And you may already have been feeling this for a very, very long time. You may have felt like this since you were a child, in fact, that you just never fit in. None of these rules made sense to you. The way these adults were never made sense to you. Your teachers, parents, authority figures never felt right. Something felt off, strange, fake, staged, whatever it may be. You always got that feeling. I know there are many of you watching this who can relate. So comment down below if that is you, because I know that you're watching this. I know there are many of you out there, because I myself used to feel that way too. So you're here for a reason. You found me for a reason, and you've been following me either new or for some time for a reason, because you either relate to me and my experience, or you find it interesting and you want to learn more. So diving deeper into this topic on understanding your role in the universe. Nothing happens on accident. If you're here, then you probably may have already discovered more or less that nothing is an accident in this world. You were not an accident, even if your parents say so. Nothing was an accident. Nothing. Even when your child knocked over that glass of water that you had laying on the side, sitting on the side, I mean. Nothing was an accident. Nothing is an accident. Nothing ever is an accident. Even when it seems like very, very small things that happen that may be accidental, but they're actually not. Even though you may not see it at this point in time, later on, down the road on your life path, you will start to understand things from your past which have happened, whether they seem significant or insignificant at the time, that have just started to make sense as to why they happened to begin with. Because when they first happened, they seemed like accidents, failures, things that weren't meant to happen, things that were bad, things that hurt you, things that were traumatizing, family trauma, relationships, health, and so on. But all of these experiences that have led you up to this point, to where you're watching me right now on the screen, were never accidental, and they were all meant to be. All of the experiences that we encounter in our life, beautiful souls, you have to understand, are meant to guide us forward. But because most of us, most people in the world, on this earth, do not have the spiritual IQ, as my husband puts it, to comprehend life and their encounters within their life, within the universe, unfortunately, they're never able to learn from it. They will never be able to learn from it because they're not conscious, because they are in the matrix going about their life. School, work, maybe children, retire, end, finish. Okay? That's the cycle that this system wants you to be enslaved into, because it benefits the people and the family who put it there. It doesn't necessarily benefit you to the best of your potential. However, it benefits the ones who put that system in place. Have you ever actually questioned? I hope so. Have you ever questioned why the world functions like that? Have you ever really questioned these things about the world and the system that we live in? I know many of you have. And that's why you're still watching this, because what I'm saying makes sense. Okay, so let's continue. There are many timelines in this universe. In fact, you may have heard that based upon quantum mechanics, there are infinite timelines in this universe. And depending on our frequency, where our heads are, we're able to tune into any one of those timelines at any given moment. So this is a very big thing, because it means that you are not a victim to your life circumstances. Have you ever actually considered that you chose your own family before you got here? That's a big thing to think about, because for many people, it's too painful if you've suffered, like I have, with immense family trauma, generational curses. But it's empowering to have realization. It's empowering to know that if you did choose to incarnate onto earth at a specific time point with a specific family and a specific set of circumstances that you have to live by and live within, that your soul knew exactly what it was doing. And that you are so, so, so much more intelligent. You are so, so, so much more intelligent than you may give yourself credit for. Many of us aren't even in tune with our soul to begin with on that level that I just mentioned. Most people still feel like they are just living life and life is happening to them, rather than them creating life and the circumstances and the situations in the way that they truly desire. And no matter how many inspirational, motivational videos and gurus that you watch on YouTube, telling you that you can create your own reality, you can manifest your life exactly the way that you want it, you're still stuck. This is the case for so many of us. Year after year after year passes by, you're watching the same people. This is the case for many of us, not all of us, but many. So I don't want to be another one of those people that you just watch just for the fun of it because it sounds good, all the words that I'm saying, like all these other people. No, that's entertainment. That is not self-development. That is not spirituality. That is entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. So just wanted to put a disclaimer out there before you continue, because this may not be for you. You never know. Another point we have to understand in being able to comprehend our role in the universe is time. Timing, going back to timelines as I mentioned, but time as a whole is very important because once you understand that, as I said, you chose this experience before you got here, you start to understand that you're able to choose other experiences too. And it starts within. And now, with regards to the things that you encounter in your life and the lessons, as well as the hurts and the trauma and the curses from your family or your parents or whoever you grew up with when you were younger, your caretakers, because I know some people don't actually have their parents when they grow up. So they either have to go to foster home, a care home, or maybe they're adopted because they got abandoned. That might be you. Knowing that our soul chose this experience and this time is important. So you start asking yourself, you need to start asking yourself, if you're not already, why did I choose this? Why did I come here at this time? How can I learn from these experiences? How can I apply the wisdom and the teachings? How can I extract that from all of the pain and the suffering or all of the beauty and the greatness from my life experiences? And how can I apply that to myself to understand myself deeper? Because life is really teaching us about ourselves through everything that we experience. As within, so without. This is a great principle of hermeticism. And no, I don't want you to go on ChatGPT and search what is hermeticism. I would like you, however, when you finish watching, to go and sit with yourself with no phone, no computer, no distraction. Close your eyes, go within, and ask yourself the questions first. Give yourself at least 30 minutes before you want to go to ChatGPT. You know, what AI is doing is great. However, it's also teaching us not to use our brain and access inner wisdom ourselves. So that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother video. I'm not going to go into that in today's class. Okay, just checking my notes. Hmm. So we just went over the timelines. I think it's best now that I go into survival. Survival, yeah, it's all good doing the things I mentioned and listening to me and agreeing, you know, but because most of us are actually stuck in survival, which is a good point, it becomes almost impossible at times to really have the level of awareness and consciousness that's necessary to take action on the points that I'm bringing up. Because most people are too concerned, like you might be, about trying to pay the bills and put food on the table for you or for your family as well. So it can be difficult. It can be difficult, and your energy internally in your mind for your thoughts may be well better spent on how to make the next dollar than Ellena, how can I just go and sit down for 30 minutes and an hour and, do all this inner research before I check ChatGPT to make sense of my life, to make sense of the experiences, to make sense of the pain, to make sense of the wounds, the trauma, or whatever it may be that's led you up to this point. I'm not excluding the positive either, because everyone's experiences are different. But when we're living in survival, we are dedicating all of our energy to surviving, and we're not able to really put aside any excess to evolving, okay? Because evolution and survival are competing with each other. On one hand, you're trying to survive, you're trying to get by, you're just trying to fulfill the basics, right? But on the other hand, you've got evolution. Evolution calls you to stop feeding energy into just the basics and go a step further and a level higher than yourself. Evolution calls you to be able to actually take a step back, take a higher perspective, go within and see things from a new light that allows you to be able to thrive rather than survive. And now this is something that even my husband was not able to achieve until his mid-30s. And guess what? I know many of you watching this might be older than 40 or 50, and you may be still feeling like you're stuck in that survival mindset, just trying to fulfill the basics, just trying to feel happy, just trying to make ends meet, just trying to have dinner with your family, watch the news, go to bed, and repeat. Whatever it may be, these are still survival mindsets. They are still very basic. These are still ways of being, should I put it, that are corresponding to the three lowest chakras: the root, the sacral, okay, the solar plexus. These are the three lowest. And not being able to actually put aside any excess energy to go higher. That's how you thrive, that's how you evolve. But survival and just making ends meet, right? Just about just surviving, just getting by, is promoted as being acceptable in this world. But however, it's not what we came here for. And maybe some people, we refer to them as NPCs, non-playing characters. Maybe some people have to live like that. But if you're still watching this, then that's not you, okay? So just let that sink in for a little bit, because when I say we, I'm not necessarily referring to all 6+ billion people on the planet, or however many there are. But there are a small percentage which will watch this, will hear this, and will understand that I'm speaking to you. Okay, and that's what I mean when I say we. So going back to understanding your role in the universe, firstly, it's important to take a good look and a good review at yourself, your background, where you came from, where you started from the beginning, from point zero, from the ground level, and then going up and extracting wisdom. Just like imagine you're coming across a beautiful fruit tree and you see a bunch of juicy oranges and you just want to pick them all. Imagine that big fruit tree with the juicy oranges is your life experience. And each orange is another lesson, it's another individual, a person, a thing, something you encountered, a feeling, a thought you had, an idea, and you want to extract the juice out of every single one of those and then use it to nourish yourself, to help yourself thrive, to be able to upgrade, okay? Because I say this metaphorically because it's the best way that I feel like some people may be able to understand. It may be easier for you to understand it like that. And instead of seeing everything as being just either worthless or normal or something that you shouldn't really pay attention to from your life experience, from your past, whatever's led you up to this point. We want to see it as big, juicy oranges that you can pick from the tree and you can drink up, okay? Because what you're doing is you're essentially harvesting your own experience, turning it into gold, okay? Not all that glitters is gold. And sometimes, more often than not, the most valuable experiences in our life, the most nourishing for our souls, that our souls came here to experience, intentionally came here to experience, are the experiences that are very unpleasant. They are very, maybe disgusting. They are very hurtful. They are very traumatizing, maybe gruesome. We're talking death. We're talking, I don't know what you've seen. Okay? These are the things where the gold really lies. It is not necessarily in all the greatness you've experienced, although there is definitely value to take from the greatness too. But I have to say also from my experience, it is generally in the really mucky stuff that allows you to transform. And I like to use the analogy of the beautiful lotus flower that starts in the mud, starts in the dirt, the muddy dirt, the beautiful earth, but it's muddy dirt, okay? And in a small pond. But, however, that lotus flower seems to bloom and come out of that and open and blossom into this beautiful pink or white or red looking flower on the surface, floating above all of the muck below it, okay, beneath the ground, above the ground that is beneath it. And I feel like that analogy is very important for me personally as well in my experience because just to share a tiny bit about myself, I don't really want to talk about my experience, but it's important to sort of incorporate that if it can help you on your journey as to like understand your own role as well and how to really navigate life and make the most out of it. Growing up, my parents split when I was like 2. My dad, I have memories of him molesting me as a toddler from I don't know how young, if it was 1 or 2, definitely 2 and 3, I remember, but if it was younger, I don't know. Um, and ages up for a few years. My mother was an alcoholic, taking drugs sometimes, not in excess. Don't get me wrong. She taught me how to cook, right? She was okay. She did her best as a mom, but both of my parents were pretty messed up. For the first few years of my life, I experienced tons of trauma. And I just learned to simply disconnect from that by developing this insanely intense ability to hyper focus and block everything else out. Like you could talk to me and I wouldn't even hear you call my name twice, sort of thing. I was able to block out all of the noise, the trauma, the environment that I was in, basically, whenever something would happen, which was often, and simply go within myself and my own imagination. And I've always been extremely creative as well and artistic. So yeah, as a child, you find ways to cope, of course. But then as I got older, I started developing severe anxiety, depression. I attempted suicide a few times with multiple overdoses, certain drugs, self-harm. And yeah, I just secluded myself in my room for several plus years, I think over 10 years, mostly by myself for the entirety of my teenage years. I decided to discontinue school, which is a nice way to say I dropped out when I was 15 to 16. However, I actually discontinued for about 6 months to a year at just age 12 to 13 as well. And I educated myself. I learned from my own experience. I was able to extract that juice we just spoke about with the big juicy oranges being a metaphor for our own experiences and lessons, trials, or tribulations. And I was always guided by a higher source since I was a child. So that's really what got me through it. Now, I'm not saying everyone shares the same experiences that I do. Most people who've gone through what I've gone through, they have not gotten to where I am today. Now, as I record this video, I'm 23 years old. I actually semi-retired when I was just 21. And now you may be thinking, hey, yeah, but you just told me you dropped out of school when you were 15, 16. How'd you retire at 21? There you go. You know, the I can talk about my experience a bit later, but now I'm a full-time mother. I'm a full-time wife, property and land owner, and we have multiple streams of income from different places, online businesses, you know. So, yeah, everything's possible, guys. You have to understand that. Going back to what I said about understanding your role in this universe is the nothing is delayed, everything's happening as it should be. When I was 16, still living with my mother, secluded in my bedroom nearly every single day, I I used to feel like the world was against me, and I used to wonder why I felt that way and why I was so depressed, and I wanted to unalive myself all the time and all this stuff. But that was before I had the recollection of the abuse from my dad. So I actually didn't remember a single thing about that child abuse from him until I actually gave birth to my son almost 2 years ago now. So that birthing experience was a huge major release for me. And ever since, obviously, I had to cut him out of my life, as you can imagine, as well as his entire family, who have accused me of lying, fabricating it in my mind, or accused like a boyfriend of my mother instead of him, my dad, which was also a boyfriend of my mother. So I disconnected from that entire family, of course, upon remembering these things. And since no one defended me in that situation, well, I had another big juicy orange on my tree to suck that juice out of and learn from, right? And that's how you got to see it. That's how this is the difference between successful people and unsuccessful is that we successful individuals, we know how to extract the gold from the muddy dirt. We know how to do that. That's why we are able to thrive, not survive. Yes, I survived. I am quote unquote a survivor. However, I am also a thriver, right? And that's the difference. We don't just want to be surviving. We want to understand, hey, why did my soul incarnate into the 3D? Hey, why did I choose this timeline? Why did I choose this family? These parents, brothers, sisters, whoever it may be. This country, the Middle East, Africa, China, India, America. Europe, wherever you were born. Why did I choose this? Why did I choose my skin color? White, black, brown, yellow, whatever it may be. Why am I left-handed nor right-handed? How come I can sing like a like as if I was trained for my entire life, but I've never undertaken any training? These are questions like in my experience, for example, but you can ask yourself the same thing. We incarnated into this earth with abilities, with talents, with traits, with different exterior appearances as well. And these are also things that you can take into consideration when you do your inner study. No, I'm not talking about ChatGPT Grok study. I'm talking about inner study, as I mentioned, if you were watching a few minutes ago. And as to understanding yourself more deeply and your role in this universe. Because I can talk to you all day about this topic, but only you can actually come to really understand your role in this universe. And that's a beautiful thing. No one can do it for you. I can't do it for you. That other YouTuber you're watching can't do it. That other guru you're listening to and you follow can't do it. That other self-development speaker can't do it. The preacher can't do it. Only you can do it. So I'm not going to entertain you on that one. I hope you're taking notes, by the way. If you aren't, go back and take some notes. Your role in this universe is not determined by your job title, as I said at the beginning of this class. That's correct. However, your full-time occupation will definitely have an impact on your role and how you are able to express that to the world. For example, if you're working full-time, you may not be able to express other hobbies outside of the job. Let's say if you're working a job that doesn't actually represent your true passions and desires as to how you would like to live your life and what you're good at and your talents and all of this. And maybe you only have a couple hours outside of that job to actually engage in those hobbies or express those talents that you have innately within yourself, whether as a personal hobby or maybe to others, maybe a side business, whatever it may be. So I think the goal for a lot of us is to be able to turn our passions and turn our talents into our full-time job, or if not a job, your full-time occupation. Because remember, the word occupation is not necessarily always referring to a job either. Because when someone says, I'm occupied, what does that mean? Or the bathroom is occupied. If something is occupied, it means that it is currently either being used or dealt with by someone or something else at the time. And that space, that gap is currently filled. So it's not available. Maybe you want to be occupied full time, even if you're retired, even if you hardly work, and do something you love. Do something that you're great at, what you're talented at, or even better yet, what you feel you incarnated onto this earth exactly to fulfill and to do. That is your soul's purpose. And I have taught other classes about this in our School of Light. And I teach my students who are watching this also on the replay, we teach our students how to embody their soul's purpose. I also provide the monthly Reiki and light language vocal healings as well, which I channel once a month. The next one is going to be at the end of this month, December. And these are also to send energy rather than speaking for the whole hour. I like to combine the energetic aspects, which I channel, in the name of light, love, and Yeshua, Christ, in combination with my classes, which are conducted verbally and vocally, just like this one. So I like to make the best of both worlds because in person, honestly, I'm not a huge speaker at all. So when I conduct these 1 hour classes, it's go, go, go with the verbal. But in person, I'm really not much of a social speaker. I don't consider myself a speaker, but I devote this time in my school in order to be able to transmit these messages to you, beautiful souls, which I trust are very helpful. And for many of our students, for all of our students who are with us, well, they're here with us, they're learning, they're benefiting, and they're applying and taking action. Based on the classes that we provide every week, every Saturday, we teach our classes, okay? And then the last Saturday of the month is the healing, is the Reiki light language class. And I also conduct classes for those who are watching this on YouTube alongside my husband and also our teacher, Hugo, as well, who's a certified EFT practitioner. And my husband is how should I put it? He's so many things. He's amazing, loving, but in terms of the job aspects, he doesn't have a healing certification per se, like myself, like Hugo. He has over 13 years of experience working in New York City in business, in real estate, sales, and he grew up pretty much with very little parental guidance himself on the streets of Brooklyn. Okay, and in the 90s especially, that was a rough place to be. You see people like getting beat up on the side of the road. Even today, people still doing all that stuff, the drugs and everything. It's a really rough place, in like the streets at least. He grew up on the streets. He mentored himself as a child. He didn't have that caretaker that he needed from his parents. Fortunately, a lady that was a very kind lady who helped raise him wasn't even blood related to him, never adopted. But some people in the world, sometimes as children, we are not meant to be raised by the ones they say are our family, but rather we may bond more so with men and women who are not blood related to us, and they feel more like family than any other parent or family member ever could. And I know many of you relate to that too. Yeah, that was my husband's upbringing. And he had to start from zero. Nothing was handed to him on a plate. He didn't have no silver spoon growing up in the streets in Brooklyn. Eventually was able to hustle and grind and make his way up, right? And out and be able to actually accumulate wealth for himself and make investments, be strategic with real estate and more, and make the right connections and contacts to other successful individuals. Because you have to surround yourself with the people that you want to be like, the environment that you wish to be in, right? And he was able to basically retire in his late 20s because of that. So my husband offers his wisdom and his experience to my school, to our School of Light as well. For all of you beautiful souls who are on the path of entrepreneurship as well, starting your own business, investing, finances, and all of the 3D matrix things which are necessary for us to navigate this realm as well. I take care of the spiritual stuff. My husband, Kevin, he's here to guide you with the physical, and he also goes into the spiritual as well. And obviously, we have the mental and emotional. We cover all of the bodies, okay? Because beautiful souls, we do not simply have a physical body. We have a spiritual body too. We have and astral, etheric, mental, emotional, and more. We have more bodies too. I actually just hosted a class on the emotional body, which I think you'd love to check out, especially for us females, because we are very emotional beings, I must say. And we have how many hours now? I think it must be like 20 hours worth of classes in my School of Light. We only started about 3 months ago, or four, is it 3 or 4 months ago. So we were a pretty relatively new school, and we have hours and hours of classes, which you can check out, as well as my healing classes. And your first class is free. So you can join us, and the link is down below. You'll be invited to our spiritual community, which we host on Discord. And we also post a bunch of information in our library. Okay, we have our own library. So we're not just conducting live classes. We also have our community where you can actively engage with me, our team, or our students as well, who are all learning and benefiting and applying and taking action with the teachings that we offer. And it is my goal, it is my personal intention to be able to serve you, beautiful souls, with this content that we create, as well as the one-to-one aspects, because we do take questions live in our classes and in our live calls. And this is all included, okay? And we have tons of information in our community, in the library. We have a bunch of channels, and every single one of those channels is there for you to go in, dive deep into, and apply that knowledge to yourself. Because everything that I share, everything that we share at the School of Light is what has benefited us and has got us to where we are today. Okay? So, I think I'm going to finish up, but I want to finish up by saying that if this actually resonated with you and you found this to be helpful, then give this a big thumbs up, comment down below, and share it to your loved ones. Share it to your forums or wherever active on the internet. If you believe that someone's going to hear this message and it's going to help them and it's going to inspire them to go within and to dig deeper, because that's why I really made this class. Look, I cannot give you the answers, no one can. The answer is you. You already are the answer. You are here. And the wisdom that you need is inside of you. So my job and my role and the School of Light, which is what this class is actually for my students at the School of Light, is to be able to act as like almost a button or a trigger to push for you, for your soul to activate. Because ultimately, no one can do the work for you, even though we may sometimes wish that they could. Yes, you can pay for healing sessions. Yes, you can pay for people to help you. Yes, you can pay for a therapist. You can pay for a massage. You can go and pay for another service. But ultimately, the work that you really need to do is free. In terms of the money, I mean, some people go for healing sessions all the time. Some people are doing yoga every week, and that's great. Like us, like we have our School of Light. So students pay every single month. And we host the classes every month, every week, and I host a healing every month, should I say. But I will always, always, always advise everyone to go within themselves first, before ChatGPT, before Grok, before me. But if you feel like these videos can help you every Saturday you can hear me, you can see me or my team members, my husband Kevin, and receive our knowledge and this love that we have to give you, then the School of Light is for you. That's why I created it. Okay. Because many of us also feel on this spiritual journey a bit lonely at times. And like we would rather be able to connect with our soul tribe than just maybe go out and go to a coffee shop, or some people go to nightclubs or whatever you try to do to like socialize and connect with people. Well, we have our School of Light, and I've designed it especially for people just like you to connect with me and our spiritual community. So yes, the link is down below. You can sign up with us. And as I mentioned, your first week is free. So it's a no-brainer. And I would love to have you there with us. Every week when we do our calls, you are able to see us face to face, and also you can ask us questions within the call too. And we can have conversations. This is not just a one-way screen. We're not just like these other people where they only want to just like speak and speak and then end the call, and they're unavailable for the rest of the month. Many people, many YouTubers who offer these types of services, that's kind of how they roll. Like they'll have a team to handle the questions. They'll have an assistant to take the questions. I don't have any assistant. I don't have anyone else answering your questions in my school. My students come to me when they have a question. I am there for them. I am there to help you directly, one-to-one at all times. No cap. Okay? Sorry, my nose is a little runny. So that's the difference between me and all of these other YouTubers and these spiritual gurus on the internet as well. And that's the difference between our school and theirs. Is that I am present fully within our school and within our classes. Most people who host these classes in their own communities, they are not present with their people. They hire assistants, they need help, or maybe they just don't want to be present. It's a choice they make. But that's not me. I am here for you. Okay. So I'm sending much love. Thank you for being here with me for this class. This was lesson 5 from my class, my soul series, The Rising. And more lessons to come in this series on the rising. My series, The Rising, is about helping you rise. Sounds simple because it's the title after all. But what I mean is to help you rise and ascend, thrive, not survive. Right now, my husband his series is based on helping you exit the matrix, escape Babylon, the Babylonian systems that we are all in bondage to, enslaved to, and be able to create financial freedom for yourself, for your family, for generations to come. Okay, so we actually handle and we cover all scopes, all sides of the coin. This is not just for the people who like healing and light language. This is also for the people or for the guys out there that need another guy to speak to them like a man and share with them what helped them, what worked for them, what worked in their business, what helped them get to the next level, and all of that sort of stuff. Okay, so we actually encompass all of these subjects, and that's something that many people on the internet are not doing. Because I also, as I mentioned, channel the Reiki healing and light language using my vocals. So we cover everything. And that's because we have the experience and we have the capacity to do so. It's not just because we can or we want to or it sounds cool or no. It's because it is our life experience. I have not met many people like myself and my husband who really have the ability to speak on such a wide range of topics and help people with what we've been through, because I don't know anyone like us. Just being quite honest. So yes, our qualification ultimately is our life. And if we can offer 2 cents to you, then that's exactly what we're going to do. And that's what we do. And our students benefit, they take action, they apply, and they succeed. I have some reviews on my link as well from some of our students. You can check that out as well. And it will be amazing to see you there. And I'm going to close up now. Okay. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. If you want to support, just join us, or my link's down below as well. And I'll see you very soon, beautiful souls. Okay. So you take care of yourselves, family, and do the right thing. Go within and join our School of Light. And we'll be here to support you every step of the way. And if you like light language, not necessarily all of you watching this, but if it applies to you, well, guess what? When you join my school, you get access to my light language certified course for free. So that's like a little bonus there, as well as a light language workshop for free. I just like throw that in there because I know there are a lot of people who follow me who love light language, and most of my videos on my channel are about light language. That's where my focus has been with YouTube for a very long time. So yes, you can learn how to channel light language yourself too. Do what I've done on my channel, helped hundreds of people with my light language healings and millions of viewers worldwide. And do it yourself. So yeah, I have that course there available for anyone who loves light language too. And just to let you know, because it's not for everyone, okay? But you're going to get it either way when you join us. So that's a bonus for you. And what else did I want to say? There was something else. If I can just pull it out of my brain. What was it? Oh yeah. So I created a brand new podcast channel, the Old World Podcast. Check it out, link down below. Subscribe. This is a brand new channel I have started because I wanted to create a space where I could actually post podcasts, which are videos which are at least an hour long, speaking about subjects and topics in our world today that most people are afraid to talk about. They are too scared, or maybe they don't want to be demonetized, or maybe they don't want to be censored. I'm talking government, I'm talking aliens, I'm talking families in power, I'm talking all the stuff that most people just don't want to talk about. And I wanted to create a separate space away from this channel, which was more like light language, self-development, Reiki, and dedicate that space. So the Old World Podcast is available. We have episodes 1 and 2 right now. Check them out. Go and watch. You're going to love it. But yeah, we also have over 16 to 20 hours right now of classes just like this, but more available in my School of Light as well. So as I mentioned, join us and you'll receive everything. And check out the Old World Podcast. If you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can email me. The email's on the channel. And I'll look forward to that. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Just wanted to add that quick message in at the end. And you can repeat this class anytime you need it. Obviously, take notes, go over the notes, go within, okay? And do the work because your soul is gonna thank you for it in the end. And you're gonna thank me too. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you very soon. God bless you all. Have an amazing day or night, wherever you are in the world watching this. And hopefully see you in my School of Light next week in our next live class and our awesome community. See you there.